Hi everyone, this is Kapitra and I go with the hashtag Coach with Kapi. Today I bring you the topic of analyzing 21st century skills. Now the question is, what are 21st century skills? 21st century skills are basically a broad set of knowledge, skill sets, habits, traits which make a personality. So anything which helps someone become a better professional, a better person, better employee, it can be kind of applied to any kind of a situation or a circumstance or an environment. So let it be your office, let it be at your education, your work, at home. So anything which kind of influences you to become a better self. But then when I think of 21st century skills, even though there may be so many of them, usually the first five which usually comes to mind is communication, creativity, collaboration, leadership, critical thinking, and even adding one, global awareness. When I started working with a lot of youth, I understood that each of them come with their own concepts, own thought processes, own mindset, uh, own ideas about what they want to do in life. Let it be a purpose, let it be a job, let it be a profession, let it be personally inclined towards something. And I felt, even though we have all these several skill sets, we need to do a lot of analyzing of these 21st century skills on an individual basis. I wanted to explain this through a very recent example. I take up something called a talent mapping session for students who are almost like 13 plus, that's 8th standard onwards, so that they are much aware about what stream they would like to take, or what are the careers which influence them, which they feel excited about. So this is a very recent incident which took place. So I have this mentee, and I was having this talent mapping session with her. And as part of the session, I asked her, let me have your career outlook statement. What do you feel a career is? What do you think a career is? And her reply was that a career is something that makes me happy my whole life. Okay, and also it is profitable and reliable. Now I blinked at her, because this was like covering a huge aspect of what we all would wish for, right? A career which makes us very happy, and something which is profitable and reliable. So I was a little amazed at first. I was blinking, is it's like such a perfect career outlook statement. And so I kind of moved on now, and then I asked her, what are your career choices? Now I was expecting maybe she'll have one or two, and then she doesn't give me one, two, three, or four, but five options. And so I waited, and she continued saying this. So the first thing, basically what she told me was that the first thing I would like to do is I would like to become an artist, and I think there's no backfire in it. So basically she was also giving me an idea about what are the pros and cons about each of these career options. So an artist, ma'am, I don't think there is any backfire in it. Number two is that if it's a teacher, but let me tell you clearly that I'm very bad at planning and organizing. So when it comes to lesson plans and all that, it's like a question mark if I'll be able to do it. So I was just smiling away. And the third option which she gave me was that I would like to become a businesswoman, and I know it's such a great interesting thing to do, becoming an entrepreneur. And yet I know it comes with its own issues with consistency, in terms of turbulence in income and all that. Okay, and then the fourth thing, what she told me is that, ma'am, my voice is very beautiful. That's what everyone around me says. I've learned Carnatic music. However, let me tell you, I don't like singing in public at all. And so I was like, okay. And And she said, okay, the fifth option is my backup option. And I was like, wow, this is something I should be telling you. You should keep backup options. And she's telling me that the fifth option is that, I would maybe like to open a supermarket because there is no dearth for moving goods. They're always in demand, and then it's always nice to replace some goods with new goods. So it's like the market is always free flowing, and people keep coming and going. So I don't think there'll be an issue in that. So that ways it's going to be like good, great. And now by this time I decided that I'm not going to comment. And I'm not going to give her any options at all, because she already is full of options. But I told myself, I think there's a lot of reality check which is required here. Now, when we look at the career outlook statement, there's this whole point of the whole life concept, right? I mean, thinking that there is a career which makes me happy for my whole life. Profitable, yes, fine, okay, we all want it to be profitable. Reliability is another thing where we want to bring the reality check. So I mean, these were the two things which kind of came into my mind, and it said, here options are not required. Here we need to have some reality check. Now when it came to this, I also thought about the analyzing of the 21st century skills in terms of what these concepts are about. So when we think about the whole life concept, and my mentee having a whole life concept attitude, I suppose there was a lot of analyzing required on 21st century skills like change management, changes which are very important. They're very constant throughout our life. Agility, how important it is to keep kind of improvising and having that quick overturn of thoughts and change in your product line or in your service line. And a lot of adaptability, it's very important at this point of time, and in the future, how adaptable we become, because things are changing, and you need to be as adaptable as possible. Now when it came to reliability, what I felt we need to match our 21st century skills with is a lot of self-realization, introspection, a lot of responsibility and accountability. So I felt my mentee really needs to think about all these strengths and weaknesses about her career outlook statement and her career choices. And that's how the analyzing of the 21st century skills becomes really important. So I think it's not important that we make sure that our children, our students, or our youth, or our professionals, or our educators or employees, anyone has the full skill list. I think it's very difficult to put 21st century skills into, these are the broad folk skills, or these are the 21st century skills. I think it's more about, we need to be a little more free flowing here. We also need to match what each individual requires with the 21st century skills. So I think this is what I wanted to kind of convey here on this episode. And thank you so much for listening out. And I say again, I go with the hashtag Coach with Kapi, and it was good to talk again, and see you in my next call. Bye bye.